What's up? I'm Coach Colin Castello with ShotMechanics Basketball. I'm going to give you 5 easy keys that are going to help you dribble faster. Now, having a faster handle is important because the more times you can put the ball down, the more you can react to whatever the defender plays, right? If I've got a really slow handle, it's going to take longer for the ball to come back up, for me to react if the defender jumped me, backed off, whatever it is, right? So it's all about that attack and react. That's what basketball is. So today what we're going to do is we're going to give you some tips to have a faster handle. Now, the first thing that I want to do before we jump into it is you can get a free copy of my #1 scoring workout. This scoring workout is going to increase your scoring average probably the first time you try it. And all you got to do is click the link in the description down below to get a free copy today immediately. So, once you get that free scoring workout, now we got to work on that handle, right? So the first thing we want to think about is having loose hands. A lot of the times when players are ball handling, they just kind of assume that their hands need to be rigid or strong, right? So they pound the ball into the ground, they really pop, 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 right? That's good, and it's good for some hand strength. But the problem is in an actual game, if you're really rigid with your handle, it's actually going to end up being slower because if I'm rigid in my body, it's going to be tough, right? If I can get more fluid in my body, it's actually going to be faster. So if you watch guys in the league like, Kyrie Irving, Steph Curry, they're much more fluid with the basketball, and a lot of it's because they have loose hands. So if you notice, when you're dribbling, the basketball can rotate or spin in my hand as I'm controlling it. And what that's going to allow me to do is put down my next dribble in whatever direction I want it to be, right? Most of the time, players don't have big enough hands or strong enough hands just to pop, 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 control. And what I notice is a lot of the times players really think about that and they over-exaggerate it. But really in a game, it makes it more predictable, and it's not actually faster, it's just a little bit stronger, right? So think about keeping loose hands, and a lot of the times, those loose hands are gonna allow you to move that basketball just a little bit faster. All right, so the next thing that we wanna think about with our dribble to get faster is we wanna have poppy dribbles, meaning that we're putting some pop into our dribble, right? A lot of times if I'm kind of getting my whole arm and whole body into it, it's gonna be a little bit slower. So if you watch the best ball handlers and the ones that dribble the fastest, most of the time it's popping out of their hands. So as it comes out, their hand's kind of almost closing a little bit, and it's popping the basketball down hard. Now the key to dribbling faster is the harder we put it down, the harder and faster it's gonna come up, right? It's basically just physics. So if I'm kind of putting down a low, kind of slow jelly arm here, it's gonna be a little bit tough. I still wanna keep my hands loose, but I want those dribbles to pop off the ground as quick as I can. Right? So think about it's almost like a yo-yo. I want to pop it down, pop it back up, just like that. If you can get poppy dribbles, it's going to help you out a ton. All right, so the next thing that can help is your peripheral vision. Now, what's interesting is your vision has nothing to do with how fast you dribble the ball, but if you can use your peripheral vision to see the court, you're going to be able to pound faster because your eyes are still seeing the ball just a little bit. So a lot of times we all hear, hey, you got to dribble with your head up. You got to dribble with your head up, right? And so players do this, and because of it, their ball control isn't as good, and so their ball control isn't as fast, right? And we're trying to get faster dribbles here. So instead of having my head straight up like this, seeing the floor, most great ball handlers are going to have their head down about here, but they're using their peripheral vision, so I can still see the hoop right now, I can still see the corner, I can still see the corner, I can still see here. So they're using their peripheral vision to monitor everything, right? So if my head's more down like this, I can read everything. I can read defenders' feet, I can see where the ball's at to control it, I can see when cutters are cutting, right? The key is we don't want our head to get too far down to where our peripheral vision can't find it, right? If I'm ball handling and I start to dip my head here, now I can't see the corner, I can't see the basket, I can't see the rim, right? So we want to find that sweet spot where our head's right about in here, where I can still see the basket, still see corner, still see ball, right? Because if I can keep my peripheral vision where I can see the basketball and still see the court, it makes it easier to dribble faster because I can see where the ball's at and my brain can work like a supercomputer to make those calculations, right? So work on, instead of having your head way up like this or way down like this, your dribble's gonna get a lot faster if you can keep your head somewhere in between so you can monitor everything that's there. All right, so the next thing that can help is if you have a stronger grip and stronger fingers, right? Because even though we wanna keep loose hands, if the ball comes through, at some point I'm gonna need to flex and push back the opposite direction. So a lot of the times your stronger hands and fingers can make a huge difference. So one really easy way to develop it is to take the basketball just like this, and if you squeeze it, you're gonna get stronger hands, right? So a lot of times if I'm just getting warmed up to get some stronger dribbles, if I just squeeze this maybe like 5 times, it's a great way to get stronger hands. And a lot of the times I can build that strength up over time to be able to whip the basketball back and forth. All right, so the next thing we can do to really kind of increase our dribble speed is actually in our hips, and we can get more flexible. So a lot of times players think about, to get a faster dribble, what can I do with my hands or the basketball? And that's a big part of it. But another big part is your hips. A lot of players aren't flexible enough, and they're not getting low enough when it comes to handling the basketball, right? So if we can stretch our hips out and get more flexible, it actually makes our dribble faster, because if I can only get down this far with my dribble, the ball's got this distance to travel. If I can get flexible to where I can get here with my hips, now the ball's got less space to go up and down, and thus is going to become a lot faster. So it's kind of backwards thinking. We're not trying to change anything with the basketball, but if we can loosen up our hips, that makes a big difference. So my all-time favorite stretch to loosen up hips is this. You're going to lay down on the ground, put one ankle behind the other knee, just like that, and then you're going to scoot your buns forward towards your heel. So you can see that as I'm scooting forward, I should be getting a really great stretch kind of my glutes and my outside hip right here. And then you can just kind of hold it and rock it back a couple times. So I'm going forward, rock, back, rock. Once that feels like it's getting pretty loose, I can switch feet. Same thing, rock forward, rock back. Now you want to be careful. You don't want to rock so hard that it's going to hurt you, right? But the idea is we want to loosen these hips up over time. I would highly recommend doing a hip stretch at least once a day, maybe even twice a day. Just get in the habit of doing it when you wake up in the morning, when you go to bed at night, and that's going to allow your hips to get loose so you can get lower, more explosive dribble, and thus it's going to be faster. All right, if this video helped you out, go ahead and hit that like button, and then head to the comment section down below and let me know what sort of video you want to see next. We run pretty much everything out for request, so leave it down below and hopefully we'll get to it. And if you're new to ShotMechanics, you're going to want to do 2 things. Hit that subscription button, because we put out videos every week and they're all going to get you better. Might as well turn on the notifications while you're at it. And the second thing you want to do is, don't forget, you want to get a free copy of my #1 scoring workout. Scoring workout is going to change the way you think about your training and probably increase your scoring average the very first time you try it. Just pop the button over there, link in the description. Again, I'm Coach Colin Castello with ShotMechanics Basketball. Thanks for watching, and until next time, splash on.